What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to this. We're going to call it a transfer special because you know what I mean? I've brought in the man from LFC Transfer Room. He's brought the gaffer with him. Lovely to see, Chris.
Yeah, he has to come. Well, I'm in a different location today. I'm back at home just before the game tomorrow. We're going to head off to Anfield, the long track up from Herefordshire. But I had to bring a mini Jurgen with me.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Is that the 86 shirt? I'm just able to see your...
This is the HSV, this is.
Oh, nice. Hamburg.
Yeah, man.
That's
so I had to pull it out of the bag for today.
I was looking at it thinking, is that the 86 shirt? Because it looks very similar from the shoulders.
Yeah,
attracted to me. I see what's going on here, Paddy. He seen James yesterday with a mini Mo and he goes, I have to have a mini Jurgen. You know, he's getting a little bit jealous there, I think, Paddy. What do you reckon?
Oh, yeah, maybe I'm going to have to up my own game as well. Start bringing some props.
Got to happen.
Got to be done.
Well, Paddy, look, I mean, you can activate butt plugs remotely these days, mate. You know what I mean? So
good. I have an app for actually, yeah.
He did tell us, Chris, that there was noises in his house, didn't he? Before the stream, to be fair, today he did say there was noises. Yeah, you know, if you want noises coming that you don't want people worrying about, ladies and gentlemen, you want your balls to be nice and clean and shaved and ready for the season ahead. Get yourself over to manscaped.com and check out all of the great deals coming up to Christmas. You can get the Performance Package 4.0, including the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0, the Ball Toner, the Ball Deodorant, Paddy's personal favourite, the Shed Travel Bag, which is great for all your goods and bits and pieces. And I know, Chris, I know that you like a little bit of the boxer briefs, mate. You know, nice, trendy boxer brief. Are you a boxer brief man, Chris? Honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Paddy, what about yourself? Boxer briefs?
Yes, indeed.
I used to be boxer shorts with that stupid little flap. You know, that stupid little fucking old man pajamas flap. But then the wife put me onto the boxer briefs. And I said, do you know what? Why not? Just alone, ladies and gentlemen. The boxer briefs are worth the money alone. But get yourselves over there, 20% off and free shipping with our discount code WFM20. Look, I know everybody's sick to death of transfers, but I just thought, why not? Why not let's go through the squad and see if we can help Jurgen Klopp. You know, Jurgen's here with us, Chris. Maybe we can help him. Maybe we can throw some ideas his way for the summer. So I thought we'd go through the squad position by position and see if there's any realistic moves that we think the lads can make. And look, you won't be hearing the likes of Mbappe in this stream. You won't be hearing the likes of Holland because they're not realistic. They're not realistic. Let's be honest. We love them, but they're not realistic. And I want you guys in the chat, if at all possible, to be interactive and help out in this, because there's got to be some players that we've forgotten about or some players that maybe you think should be moved on. So we'll start off with the goalkeeping position, gents, if that's all right. A little bit. You know, there's not much to be said here, is there? Queeveen's there. Allison's there. Adrian's there.
Hey.
I know you love a bit of Adrian San Miguel, Paddy, don't you?
Number 13. Less said about him, the better, as always.
So we all happy to say we're sound in a goalkeeping position.
Yeah,
Pidaluga, who we have.
Yeah, and I mean...
Big Loris is still about. Big Carrius.
Instagram man himself.
He might be going. I mean, I hope he leaves, to be honest, for his own sanity.
And he leads on that one, Chris, actually, because I'm surprised he's still here, mate. I've got to be honest with you. I thought maybe it's getting to the point, Chris, where we have a conversation around just cancelling his contract.
Maybe. I mean, I do feel kind of sorry for him. There's got to be someone out there who's going to take him. I still think he's got a lot to offer. I just think that the Liverpool shirt is his kryptonite now. After that horrible happenings in Kiev, whatever happened.
You could say fucking football pictures with kryptonite.
Nah, but to be honest...
Sorry, Loris.
One of the best goalkeepers in the Bundesliga before he came, and I was surprised that we got him for so little money. But then he sort of proved why he cost so little. And I just really, really hope that he gets somewhere else, because I do feel kind of sorry for him. He's got a lovely trim on him, isn't he? He maybe you can go do some modelling or maybe play on Twitch or something.
Yeah, look, it is difficult, isn't it? Because you would think that there'd be a club out there in Germany, Paddy, somewhere that would think, all right, let's see, we've got a goalkeeper here who has played at the highest level, albeit with a bit of a mixed bag, somebody who's low in confidence. Maybe you think a move back to his homeland like that would probably be the best thing.
Yeah, well, hopefully for the guy. As a goalkeeper, when you have such a howler, I think inherently the confidence is gone. As good as he can be, I just feel there's clangers in him just because naturally, I think it's just his own confidence is shot. And I just think it's very hard for me to ever see him at any sort of top level without having trouble. I wish him that he was pretty solid leading up to that Champions League final. He was very good. Remember that save against Newcastle he made in the Premier League?
Hey Jay, so this is that bad. Do you remember that save we made, lads? Do you remember that save? Is that how bad it is, Paddy?
Yeah,
do you remember that save? Do you remember that one save back then in 19 splashing?
Well, I'll tell you what, he's a better goalkeeper than number 13. That's a fact.
Oh, I don't know.
I'd rather have Karius and Golden Adrian. Fact.
I really don't know about that. That's a debate that needs to be had.
It's a debate we absolutely do not need to have.
Let's hope it's never a question that we have to answer.
Adrian turned up in the biggest moment at Karius flopped. That's all I'll say.
I really feel for Karius about what happened. You could see it written all over his face in Kiev. It was a moment as a human being, as a goalkeeper. Like, just think, his family were in the stands, his mum was there. Nobody wants to see that happen to them. And look, there is lingering doubts about was he concussed or not. You know, it's easy for us to go either way in it, but it's a genuine conversation. That was a snidey knock he took from Ramos.
I actually didn't even realize at the time. That was that Madrid game. Jesus Christ, that is. I don't think a goalkeeper's ever had a worse performance in the history of football. I
like to think about that game, if I'm being honest, that we lost 1-0 and Bale's worldie was the only goal in the game. That's the way I settle that with myself, because it was horrible. It's horrible because you think back to Dua Lipa and that song and One Kiss and the entire travelling cop bounce, and it's such a shame. It's such a shame because we owned Kiev that week. Do you know what I mean? The Reds were everywhere. It was amazing.
It's a weird one though, because it's one of those, like, if we had went on and win it, it could have changed like the Premier League. And I'm with the course it's taken since, I'm happy, but you never know. Like, we had a one there, it could have been a totally different scenario. You never know. Carrick could still be in our goalkeeper. We would never have got Big Ali Becker. Maybe wouldn't have sold Coutinho. It's a lot of what ifs.
Everything happens for a reason. I do believe that. Yeah. Everything happens for a reason. But every time I hear One Kiss now from Dua Lipa, that's all I think about is Kiev.
I still got good memories.
Oh, she's brilliant. Yeah, she's definitely intrinsically linked to our football club going forward, 100%. Right, let's move to the fullback positions where we can actually have a conversation around if we need somebody. Let's look at the right back position, gents, because I think it's fair to say Nico Williams has stepped it up a little bit since he's returned from his enforced absence through injury, Chris. And, we heard after the Euros that perhaps he was going to look to try maybe get more first-team football. I don't want to say leave Liverpool, because I think his understanding, his reasoning behind it would genuinely be just to get more first-team football. So what's your take on the right-back position now? Do we need to upgrade it, or is Nico got what it takes?
I think he's got what it takes. Let's not forget that.
Take your Welsh hat off, Chris. Take your Welsh hat off.
I definitely think he's got what it takes. One, he's a Welsh international, which is not easy, but so is Ben Woodburn and Harry Wilson. But I think when he burst onto the scene, people were saying, "Oh, who's this?" He's got such energy going forward. Defensively, yes, he lacks some concentration, but not a lot of players in better teams than him. In better places than him, lack defensive concentration as well. So I genuinely think he's got what it takes, and he's homegrown, so that ticks a box as well. Don't forget about that. However, if we got a £20 million offer for him, who are we to say no?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just baffled that somebody can't spell the word fat. I'm absolutely baffled. Sorry, that just caught my eye. I just thought, there's no hope for us. There's no hope. Paddy, for you, Nico Williams, performances lately when he's come on. I was really impressed with him further forward, actually, on the right the other night when he came on. But nobody's dislodging Trent, so it's a hiding to nothing, really.
Don't get me wrong, he's a solid right back. He done well in that Preston game. But at the end of the day, at a club like Liverpool, when you're challenging for the biggest honours, I feel like your cover needs to be an extra level. I feel like your right back cover should be a player that would start for the bottom 10, if you get that sort of way. That has to be that sort of level. I don't think Nico Williams would be a starting right back for a Crystal Palace or a Brentford or someone like that. You know what I mean? I think it needs to be a higher level. He's a solid player, but I just feel like we could do it a better level as a cover.
Yeah, it's It is a difficult position, isn't it, Chris? Because, you come in, if you're a player coming through, and fair play to Costas Tsimikas, by the way, for taking up this challenge of fullback. But if you look, you see Trent Alexander-Arnold, or you look on the other side, and, we'll bring both fullback positions into the conversation now. We're sorted at left back. Tsimikas spot on, absolutely getting up to speed. If anything, I didn't think I'd be saying this, Chris, but he could well push Robbo for that starting position.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, he's come in and done exactly the right thing. I think, there's been murmurs always of Trent moving into midfield, and maybe Nico Williams sees that as an opportunity maybe to stay. I think it's a really difficult one because, if you were going to go out and sign a player that's better than Nico Williams, he's probably going to cost you 20 to 25 million pounds. And is it worth buying a player like that if he's just going to sit on the bench and he has to settle in? Probably not. I think it's the perfect solution, really. And if he keeps pushing, keeps playing games, we make a healthy profit on him, then we can go and sign a player that might be slightly better than him in the future. But I think it's the perfect cocktail, really, to have a player like Nico pushing through.
Suggestions in the chat, really, and I am looking at you guys. So come on, up your game. Give us some suggestions of fullback. The only one I've really seen, Paddy, stand out there with Tariq Lamptey. And look, I'd be all over Tariq Lamptey coming to Liverpool, but he left Chelsea because he wasn't going to get enough game time. He's getting it at Brighton, and he's getting it at a good level there with Graham Potter as well. So I'd be surprised to see him want to move.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, he'd be a great signing, but that's the thing. As I was saying, I'd like a higher level as a backup, but then again, if you're an aspiring right back and you want to be playing football, would you sign to Liverpool knowing full well you're not getting ahead of Trent for at least a decade? So it's one of those. It's tough. But yeah, Tariq Lamptey would be great, but I don't think it's reasonable for him to come down.
Do you know what's mad? I remember having the conversations, Chris, about will Trent be able to push Kleiny out? I remember having those conversations with people and it being, genuine 50-50 at one point, when Trent was coming through. Because Kleiny was as steady as she goes at right back. Like, he was a decent player. And I think that's the type of player we could actually do, bring him back into the squad now if we're looking at a fullback. Somebody like that, maybe, I don't want to say latter parts of their careers, but an experienced head, somebody who's versatile is another word that I'm going to throw at you, because we know Klopp likes to bring people in who can play in a whole multitude of positions.
Who doesn't love a bit of versatility, mate? It's brilliant for a Football Manager draft as well. But no,
that's what I was thinking as well.
I see what you mean. I see exactly what you mean. But I do think that having a young, hungry player trying to push forward into a team makes it work. I think Kostas Tsimikas, mid-20s, pushing forward into that team. I mean, Andrew Robertson came in as a backup, if you think about it. I mean, Alberto Moreno was playing ahead of him, and James Milner was technically ahead of him as well. And he's gone on to be one of the best left-backs in the world. Never say never. I mean, we could see someone come through. We could see Conor Bradley come through, as an example, and dislodge Nico and then dislodge Trent. Who knows? It could happen to anyone. And you just got to, I think keeping faith in young players is the best way forward. But as you mentioned, having players like Milner, the versatile players like Lallana even we'll mention as well, is always great around the dressing room, and to have for Klopp and for other managers on their benches and to rotate in and out. So yeah, very difficult.
Some good shouts in the chat, to be fair. James Justin, very good. Fullback. Versalco from Atleti's in there. Max Aarons is another one. I think the problem, though, Paddy, with most of these names is, we'll agree a lot of them are good, promising fullbacks, but it's just that, will they come knowing that their game time is most likely going to be severely limited?
That's the thing. Like, it'll be hard for anyone who thinks they're worth their salt. They're not going to be willing to take a step down. But then again, it could be a thing where they feel like they have the minerals to challenge Trent, which, is wishful thinking. But, you could do with that sort of competition, like someone right up Trent's arse that, if he has a couple of down weeks, that you'd have someone right up there. Yeah, listen, Nico Williams wouldn't be the worst thing. It is a good idea to look to youth for a financial thing as well. FSG are tight with their purse string, so saving 20 million on a backup right back to put towards the Mbappe fund or Holland fund wouldn't be too bad.
I guess the reason that I want to have this conversation, lads, is with the League Cup this week, I was thinking to myself, you always have the conversation, Chris, can we challenge on all fronts this year? Will we challenge in the FA Cup, League Cup? And to do that, we need a squad capable of doing that. So is it fair to use the competition to blood youngsters, or do you think maybe that we could look to go out there and just, like, it's almost an easy picking to pick up the League Cup, if you get me? Like, if you take it seriously, you can do rather well.
It's an interesting debate. I think blood and youngsters is the main focus for Jurgen Klopp in the competition. But I think you need to have luck in the League Cup. I mean, if you look at Manchester City's draws in the League Cup in the last 4 years, it's probably about 2 or 3 teams that we'd have faced. I mean, we kept getting Premier League teams away from home. Now you can't really play weak teams or blood-in youngsters there and expect to get far. So that's why I think we've paid less attention to the cups. But this year, I think we've been quite lucky, and hopefully we can be even more lucky tomorrow morning and get Sunderland at home, which would be ideal. But yeah, it's an interesting one.
Do you know what? Here's something that got me the other day. I was reading an article on this, and I understand why Liverpool and top teams really don't take the League Cup that seriously. So for a win in the group stage of the Champions League, £2.5 million. To win the entire EFL League Cup, 100 grand. 100 grand is the prize money. Now, Paddy, we can see why people were saying, why did Klopp play Jota and those in the dead rubber against Midtjylland? Because if you're dealing with owners who are a little bit tight with the finances, £2.5 million for winning the Champions League. So no, that's not an insignificant amount of money, mate. So 100 grand is a piss take, by the way, isn't it? Let's be fair.
I mean, I knew it was low, but Jesus Christ, it makes sense when no one gives a shite, and it's surprising Sydney of all teams took it so seriously for years. But yeah, listen, I take the EFL Cup or Carabao, whatever you want to call it, at face value. Literally just another one for the major trophy. I don't really think it should be a major trophy, but if people consider it one, I'm happy to notch it up and get ahead of United even more.
That's the debate, Chris, isn't it? Like, it's that battle between, well, in an ideal world, you want to win the trophies. Football's about winning trophies. We don't care about the finances of it, but somebody has to care about the finances of it, mate, and that's most likely going to be the manager and the transfer committee and those in the higher echelons of Anfield.
Oh, mate, well, if 100 grand for winning an entire tournament, it's just mental, and at the top level. I mean, I think if you get through to the first round of the FA Cup, it's something like 12 or 13,000 pounds. Because I've been doing some stuff on some non-league teams, they get 12, 13 grand for getting onto the first round of the FA Cup. Now, don't forget, there's like 7 more rounds of that, and I think you get $2.5 million for winning that. I mean, for people to take this League Cup more seriously, they've got to up that. I'm sorry, it is a direct correlation to why people do play youngsters. It is fun. It is fun and good vibes to see all the youngsters. But, I mean, if they want it to be something of worth to anyone bar City, then up the prize money. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like, I mean, $2.5 million for a group stage to win the Champions League. Yeah, you can understand that. But 100 grand. It just, I don't know. I can understand where the managers would look at it and go, especially managers who come from leagues where there's only one domestic cup. You know, a lot of the leagues around Europe just have one cup. England is one of the few top leagues that have 2 cups. Yeah. So we'll wait and see how it happens. But again, the article I was reading went a little bit further into the halls of power of FIFA and UEFA, where they are really trying to get rid of the League Cup, basically. You know, they're making no secret about it. They look at it as a way of freeing up some more dates for bigger European games. And look, we'll wait and see what happens. But let's move into midfield now, Jen. So, no, do we need to have a conversation at centre-backs?
I mean,
think we're sorted there.
Maybe selling. I think maybe Nat Phillips might leave in January.
But that's the interesting point, because from his perspective, I get it. You know what I mean? He's looking ahead of him. He's seen Gomez, he's seen Canada, he's seen Van Dijk, he's seen Matip, and he's just Billy Cometio, Reece Williams breathing over his shoulder as well. But at what point do we say to ourselves, well, we need 5 centre backs? If Nat moves on, are we weakening ourselves by maybe going Billy Cometio, Reece Williams? It is a tough one, because we know how important they are.
Nat Phillips is a tremendous character, shall we say. I'd say he's a limited footballer who's absolutely maximised his potential. He's done so well. We can't forget that last season, if it wasn't for him, we weren't getting Champions League. Like, he was unbelievable and unbelievably consistent. And we thank him for it, but he's just not Liverpool standard, I'm afraid. He's not quick enough. He can't play the system. We have to actually change our system for him to play in it. Personally, if you give me 10 million now, I'm very surprised he didn't get it in the summer, to be honest. But I think someone lower in the lower reaches of the Premier League, someone like Burnley or Newcastle, it'd be a good place to go. So yeah, Nat Phillips.
How do you be hostage?
I'm actually trying to say 20. I don't know what I'm trying to do. 20 million. 20 million is a fair deal.
And what would you do with that? If I said to you tomorrow, right now, Phillips, 20 million, what would you do to replace the centre-back situation? Because we do need 5. I think last season is the warning that lets us know we need 5 centre backs at the club.
Reece Williams, if good enough, 5th.
So we're weakening ourselves then. In my eyes, I'm playing devil's advocate here. To me, we're weakening ourselves.
On loan, so
I mean, slightly, but like you have to remember which a centre back of that level that we deem good enough for the 5th choice. Who would be willing to drop to a 5th choice? Realistically, no chance of playing, bar another freak show injuries. Like, so I don't know. I feel like only that. I think last year is making us so paranoid about the centre back positions, but realistically, 4 top quality centre backs and you're all right. Surely, we should never ever dip into the reserves like we did that time last year. For me,
I think the only solution I see really happening is Billy Comedio, because even to me, he looks like a proper player. And we've seen, Chris, that Jurgen Klopp took time in training last season to go one-on-one with Billy Comedio to give him some special attention, for want of a better phrase. And he does look like the real deal to me anyway.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you see the crossfield balls. I hate to pin such a superlative onto someone, but it's Van Dijk-esque, some of the things that he does. I mean, he's quite nervous in his first team appearances that I've seen. I think he's been nervous, but I think he bosses academy level boys. He absolutely bosses it. He's taller than everyone. He's like a man against boys.
It's like a young Kanate to me.
It is.
Big, solid, strong lad.
One of the things that puts me off players like that, though, is that are they just overdeveloped? And are they playing like a man against boys? I think Dom Solanke's the prime example of that.
Fair, good show.
He was an unbelievable player at youth, but I just think it's because he was more of a man than the boys that he was playing against. But that's the only concern that I would have about Billy Comedio.
I think that's fair. Paddy, would you agree? I mean, I actually never thought about it. It's a good point Chris raised.
That's true, yeah. Dom Solanke's a prime example of that. He was really good at youth level because he was just twice the size of anyone and kind of got found out. Billy Comedio, you've only seen bits and bobs of him, but I feel like Klopp rates him enough because he's been around that a few times. But I feel like as a 5th choice, just I think he's more than capable. Like, when will a 5th choice ever be actually called upon? And it could be good to mold him and just get him around the squad and just have him in a little glass container and break in case of a shitload of injuries.
Fair show. Well, I want to move into midfield, and I'm going to start with a comment, actually. Some good suggestions here from Helia. Thank you, mate, for that. Gumaresh, Mariba, prime midfielders of the right stock. And look, I think this is where we really get into the exciting stuff, Chris, of saying we need a midfielder. We do need a midfielder. We didn't replace Jorginho Wijnaldum. Need a midfielder.
Oh, do we? Do we, Craig? I'm not sure we do.
I think we need a specific type of midfielder, in my humble opinion. I'd like
big shit.
Well, look, I'm gonna say creative. I'm gonna say we need somebody creative, but a lot of the suggestions we may talk to probably won't be a creative type. And I will fully understand that Thiago and Naby Keita can be put into that category. So, but again, there is the old reliability of injuries and stuff. So
it's a conundrum, mate. A lot of these are conundrums. I mean, if you looked at it at the start of the season, blank. Oh, I'd love Chupagan. If you look at it with blank, with a blank canvas, midfield's our strongest position in terms of depth. We have, I think, 7 or 8 decent midfielders going down to Oxlade-Chamberlain and Curtis Jones. And obviously now you can add Tyler Morton to that. I think.
Can I say something sexual?
Go on, do it.
This midfield tree: Fabinho, Keita, Thiago.
It's not far away.
Whoa! I want to see that just once. I don't think we've actually seen it, have we? But please, yeah. Look, I know it's tough on Hendo, but just let me see it once.
I want to throw it to the chat. Do you think on face value we would have needed a midfielder at the start of the season? I personally don't. Now,
how is this dumb bastard still spelling things wrong?
You're so fake.
Is it the same Donny?
It's the same you're for a start. It's you fucking Amadon. And then
Amadon.
Even Faddy, mate. One word. One fucking word.
Is that Ansu?
Mate, you need to go get yourself an education because you are one dumb son of a bitch, honestly. What does anybody else notice this? Paddy, I imagine, like myself, mate, you get a little bit of attention on social media from time to time. Is it fair to say that the trolls aren't of the highest caliber, mate, when it comes to the intellectual side of things.
They are the bottom of the barrel.
Obviously, Chris, you've been a handsome, good-looking, thin young man. You don't have to put up with this type of savagery that myself and Mr. Murphy have to put up with.
Oh, mate, I love it.
The worst thing you get called is a Fabio Barini. Do you know what I mean? That's all you have to deal with, Chris.
I mean, he was shit, but that's about it. That's all I can take.
So back to the midfield scenario. Now, look, mate, we understand that you're a special case there, so we'll let you go in the chat. But we'll get back to the midfield conversation.
Back on the bus.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? There's so much I'd love to say, but PC stuff won't allow me to say it. Do you know what I mean? So we'll just move on from there. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm going to get in trouble if I say it. So moving back to midfield, I've been thinking about midfield a lot over the past few months, and there is probably 15 midfielders, Chris, that we could look at and make an argument about. Wirtz, great show from somebody in the chat there as well. Florian Wirtz, I think his name is. Bayer Leverkusen, stepped up since Kai Havertz left there. You can look at tonight, actually, I was watching the first half of the PSG game, and, we still have the gentleman at Lille, Renato Sanchez, who still there. You know what I mean? Another option, perhaps, Florian Neuhaus, someone that was linked all summer. Then you go to the younger guys, Barea. Obviously, you think you can rule Pedri out now, unless John W. Henry has $1 billion lying around somewhere that really wants to spend. But to me, I mean, you heard Chris, Paddy doesn't think we genuinely need a midfielder. Would you agree with that? Or do you think that there is scope, maybe with the age of Milner and Hendo, to bring somebody in?
Well, we certainly don't need a starter, but we could definitely do with some depth. Like Renato Sanches, as the Portuguese would say, that fella on TikTok, Renato Sanches. Like, he's quality, but he's an injury-prone guy and kind of guy. Like, he has had a blue. I would love some. Actually, speaking of Neuhaus and Wirtz, I'm surprised Klopp hasn't dabbled with the German sausage a lot more. I'm surprised he hasn't stayed local to him.
I'm baffled by that as well, I have to say. Yeah. You would think, Linders. I look at Linders and I think, right, gonna have an extensive knowledge of the Portuguese game and the players with his time that he's worked, obviously, with Porto underage and stuff. And it's been a little bit of a surprise to see that hasn't been a market that he's gone back to. Look, I can understand maybe not going back to Dortmund so much, but you would think he'd have an extensive list of contacts.
Because you think he'd, from leaving there, he would have such a know-how as well. So it's surprising. So maybe we're due a German. Oh,
okay.
I didn't mean
that was literally a Freudian slip.
If you think about it, the only ones that Klopp has bought in from the Bundesliga, apart we'll rule out Thiago, are Joel Matip and Karius. I can't remember anyone else. So I
can't believe he said it. I didn't mean that and buy it. It was a completely honest phrase, and
I did my best to try and move on, Craig.
I know, but Paddy's making me laugh as well, and it's not a laughing matter. Of course, it's not a laughing matter, but
he's gonna get cancelled.
I'm just trying to think of the German sausage now to get out of it. That's all.
Frankfurter, mate.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh my God, I can't.
Jesus Christ isn't going to get you out of this one, Paddy.
I can't even live anymore.
Oh my God. So we are probably on track for a German player to come in.
Yeah,
Chris is where I'm going with this one.
I love Florian Wirtz. He'd be class. I mean, 18 years old. And I think he's got 8 goals this season already, which is ridiculous numbers, battering those of Kai Havertz. Can also play in the false 9 as well, Florian Wirtz. So he'd be very, very nice. Very versatile as well. Jurgen would love it.
I'm gonna run a name up the flagpole, gents, see if anybody salutes. Yuri Tielemans still hasn't signed his contract with Leicester City.
Yeah,
Premier League proven.
I don't know. I would have been on board with you in the summer, but isn't his agent Mino? Or am I making?
Don't be saying this to me, Chris. Though I don't know. I'm living in blissful ignorance here.
Let me just Google it quickly before I make myself a fool. But I'm. It's not Mino. It's not Mino. It's fine.
Good. I was thinking me not being too quiet on this if it was him. There'd be links everywhere.
Yeah. But
yeah, that's good. That's good that it's not Mino Raiola, that's his agent. So now we can have a civilized conversation around Yuri Tielemans.
He'd be class. I think I'm a little bit worried about his stamina. I think he runs out of games a little bit. He goes in really well for the first 70 minutes. Then the last 20, he seems to just fall out of games a little bit from what I've seen. But yeah, I'd love him. I think he's the perfect Klopp midfielder. Barring Jude Bellingham, of course. I think it'd be those two that would just imagine those two in the same midfield, boys. I'm not gonna lie, that would be just sexual. It would just be so beautiful.
Throw in Barella as well, by the way. I'd absolutely love. That's something. Was it you, Chris? Somebody was saying to me about his attitude. It might have been you, Chris. I'm not sure.
No. I said that Inter Milan had probably made him his captain when Handanovic leaves, so it's probably not going to happen. But yeah, it'd be nice.
At what point do we differentiate between a midfielder and somebody like, let's say, a Rafinha who can maybe play in the hole or do a little job? This is where I come unstuck, because I think in a 4-3-3 system now, when I look at transfers, that's the only way I think about it. And, Rafinha is a decent shout, most because we've a great relationship, Chris, with the Guest Few agency, which represents Rafinha, represented Fabinho, represented Diogo Jota. Deco obviously been out recently talking about him. It looks like he's setting his client up for a move in the summer anyway.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be beautiful to have Rafinha. I think he's again a perfect fit. Another one that Klopp can dramatically improve, especially his goal return. I mean, not to say that it's bad. I think he got 9 goals and 9 assists last season, which isn't bad at all, especially in a Leeds side. But yeah, it'd be perfect. I don't know how much he would cost. And I'd be a little bit wary on that. I think that unless Leeds get relegated, which is a possibility, which we didn't think we'd say. But yeah, he'd be perfect. He would be so perfect for us.
Very Klopp-esque.
He is. And look, while we're on Leeds, I suppose we should have a conversation around Calvin Phillips, because to me, the conversation stops, Paddy, when you hear £60 million. And people are going to throw Declan Rice into this as well. You're talking in excess of probably 80 million quid for Declan Rice at this point, with Chelsea, Manchester City and Manchester United maybe sniffing around there. So, I mean, now, both of them great midfielders, but for me, it's just the price tag that would rule them out.
Yeah, I mean, as Liverpool or as football fans, of a big club, we can maybe allow ourselves to dream of those sort of players. But then when you realize who are owned by and you hear the price tags, you kind of come back down to earth a wee bit. English tax is just insane. Like, I think David Moyes said in the week there was a bargain available, 100 million for Declan Rice. That's gone now. So he's talking about in excess of 100 million for Declan Rice. I don't know what they're smoking over there at the Olympic Stadium, but that's incredibly not happening.
Yeah, I mean, I remember speaking with Alex Goldberg, and he was quite confident that Chelsea were going to get their man Chris eventually there with Declan Rice. Although he did then go and look at Tchouaméni, I think, as well, from Monaco, who's another decent show. With regards to midfield talent. Look, Bellingham's the name we all want. Let's be honest about that.
I want Bellingham.
It seems like it's written in the stars to me, even though I don't know how we can afford the stars.
Oh my God. We mentioned it so many times. Jude Bellingham is the perfect Jurgen Klopp midfielder. If you could mold a Jurgen Klopp midfielder, it would be him. And the thing is, he's only going to get better as well. Do you see his goal the other day, boys? It was just beautiful. He's running, dribbling. It was like Mo Salah almost, the way that he ran through the players. He would be perfection. But again, it's a pipe dream. Declan Rice, if he became available for 50 or 60 million, I'd definitely be all over that. The Englishman Declan Rice, not the Irishman, of course. And yeah, he's I think he's class. Same with Phillips.
Can you feel the daggers that you're getting now from me and Paddy, mate? Can you feel them? You should be able to feel them.
Without his father's Irish juice, there'd be no such thing as Declan Rice. So you know what I'm saying?
yeah. You know what I mean? You're very close to getting to what are they called? Them dolls, you prick.
What are they called? Voodoo dolls.
Yeah, you're very close to getting to that level here with me and Paddy, mate. You know what I mean?
I had to drop it in just for
There's one in the chat here, look, and I want to talk about this for a couple of ways. Right, so let me say, first and foremost, nothing about that is going to be free. Nothing about that is going to be free. Mina Raiola will want his greasy palms, sorted out. Pogba, I wouldn't take Pogba if he actually was free and would play for 100 grand a week. I just wouldn't want the distraction, the headache, the drama, the circus, everything that goes around Pogba in that Liverpool dressing room, Paddy. And there was an article written about this as well, by the way. Someone suggesting that Jurgen Klopp was looking to bring in Paul Pogba. No, I've no doubt he'd do a better job of managing him than Ollie, but...
Yeah. If Paul Pogba himself paid his wages, he would never sign for Liverpool. You know what I mean? It's in a weird way, he'd be a great player under Klopp. But then again, would he? Because he wouldn't be willing to press like a Klopp would demand. So, but even if Paul himself paid the money, God no. This guy is still going in the chat.
I know, he still can't spell either, the dumb fuck.
Fucking hell.
Oh, but you were cheering me up tonight, so, go through your 50 YouTube accounts there, fella, and the mods will just keep booting you out. But another name we haven't touched on yet, and look, I feel like we're going to spend a long time on midfield because there's a lot to talk about. Frank Kessie, another one whose contract is up at the end of the season. I'm on the fence with Kessie. I have to say, I'm on the fence with him. Sometimes I look at him, Chris, and I see what the fuss is about. Other times, dare I say it, I see a bit of petulance. I see a bit of a bad attitude. I don't know.
I think people look at his numbers first and foremost. I think he got 13 goals last season in Serie A. It's unquestionably good, but a lot of those came from the penalty spot. He's an unquestionably good penalty taker, and he's got the engine to run for days. I think if you get Frank Kessie tuned, I think it's a bit like Pogba. If you get him tuned to the right tune, shall we say, he would be fantastic. I think Jurgen Klopp would get the most out of him. Whether he would want to sign a player of that potential petulance and attitude, I don't know. I'd love it though. Be beautiful. Be beautiful in a Liverpool shirt, mind. Wearing that, bombing up and down, it'd be quality. But again,
he's got that touch of schneidiness I like as well. He's not afraid to leave a boot in when it needs to be. And somebody, Paddy, we haven't spoken about yet, who the lads will be playing against tomorrow probably is, of course, Yves Bissouma, a very, very capable midfielder.
Is he still in hot water?
I think he still has a few questions to answer and stuff. But let's say everything goes tickety-boo.
Yeah, as the footballer goes, he would have been ideal in the summer. I think he'd be like a direct Genie replacement. He's a similar type, I would imagine. I think he's a quality footballer. I'd imagine we don't go near him until he clears his name or whatever. Until that all gets sorted out. But as a footballer, fantastic.
As a footballer, I thought Chris in the summer probably the most obvious like-for-like style replacement for Genie.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the way that he glides with the ball, I think it reminds me a lot of Genie Wijnaldum. But obviously there is underlying issues there and overlying issues. We spoke to Andy Naylor at the transfer room today, who was the Athletics Brighton reporter, who said he probably will play and he makes a massive impact on Brighton. But I don't think Jurgen Klopp would go anywhere near a man of that sort, shall we say.
There is obviously this, and that's why instantly the Paul Pogba thing to me was nonsense. Apart from the wages, the Raiola stuff, just no way Klopp would want that type of personality in the dressing room. It's just no way, because one thing that Jurgen Klopp has worked really, really, really hard at is getting that ruthless, that steely mentality in. And I think it was summed up by Robbo, when we scored the fifth, saying, don't let up, lads, don't relent, keep going. So, yeah, look, let's move towards the attacking end of the pitch now, be they wingers, attacking midfielders, or strikers. Look, there's one for Carl straight away. Haaland, easy, end the conversation. Look, if it was that easy and it was 75 million, I would end the conversation right now happily. But, Mino Raiola wants not just a lump sum, apparently, Paddy, he wants a goddamn wage. He wants a wage.
I don't like dealing with that man at all. He's such a wheeler and dealer. I don't think Liverpool players are they under Raiola?
No,
not from the current bunch that I'm aware of.
I don't think. I think as soon as he's in the conversation, I think Liverpool and Klopp would be out of it. So yeah, I mean Haaland would be. Jesus, people always compare.
Just seeing that comment, Paddy Murphy's a saucy donut of a man.
I see one saying Paddy Murphy's a paste merchant a minute ago.
I see one calling me a dole merchant, so they can't. They're all spot on.
Who would have thought, Paddy, me and you together on the stream would end up in abuse? Who would have thought?
I know. I seen one. What is it? I like Haaland. People always say Mbappe or Haaland, and for me, I think Mbappe is more susceptible to flopping than Haaland. I feel Haaland is unfloppable. I feel like if you sign him, he'd just score and he'd be a freak of nature. So I pray to God he never ends up in the Prem unless it's for Liverpool. But I don't think we're ever going to mess around with Mino Raiola, the absolute Schlevin.
After, it's been revealed that Haaland's a big fraud because that 3-ball trick was a load of me arse, Chris. So I mean, that was complete false. Even though Dortmund tried to come out and say that it was real, mate. Balls move. You can't mess around with gravity.
Oh, balls do move. That's why you have to keep the manscape.
They move freer if you keep the manscape, Paddy. Yeah, less friction. Do you know what I mean? Well, in Paddy. Paddy knows what the ball toner's about. Paddy knows.
I've actually bought one off them with using the code, so there you go.
You'd love to see it, mister. You could have just told me, mate. I'd have got one sent to you.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Paddy's supporting the channel, man. Nah, Erling Haaland, ridiculous. I mean, who wouldn't take him in world football right now? Literally, he would get into every single team in world football.
So, Chris, if he was 75 million, if that was the deal, and then it came through to talking about wages, because I've no doubt Jurgen Klopp would absolutely love Holland. Of course he would. Ollie would love him. Pep would love him. Everybody would love him. But what part of Liverpool would you look to sell to him? How would you sell the club to Holland if you were saying, look, you can get more money elsewhere, but come here, mate?
I'm just thinking, would Jurgen Klopp want a man like Holland? I think.
He wouldn't want. He'd be keeping away from his daughter, quick smart. I guarantee you that one.
Paddy just had a conference call with Oxford Dictionary, and they sanctioned the word unflappable.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen him in press conferences. I think he's quite cocky.
I don't know why that's so funny.
Do this. Shit beard merchant.
Fucking hell, dude. Again, in small angles. Shit beard merchant now.
Oh, I continue. Keep the comments coming in, please.
Stop.
Anything with the word merchant just works.
Yeah, merchant. Fat merchant.
Dub merchant. That's what we call you, Paddy. Dub merchant. You know what I mean? Just collecting W's, buddy. That's all.
I'll take that. We'll take that.
Continue.
It's all meant from love. Where were we? Jurgen, what were we talking about?
Not Holland, but I got to control.
I'm not balding. Nah, come on. That's I'm drawing the line there.
Wait. Get the hair down, Paddy.
Come on a minute. I'm not balding. I mean,
is that a bit of receding hairline there?
I hear. Come on now.
Nah, Paul Scholes is a foot merchant. Paul Scholes is a foot merchant.
Come over, merchant, to be next. Look, I can't even get the comb over. You know what I mean? I'm going around with a mop on my head, just trying to. Oh, gosh.
Right, moving on. Erling Haaland. Everyone in the world would take him. I'm not sure Jurgen Klopp would take his attitude, though. I think.
That's interesting.
Would you sacrifice what we've got now for Erling Haaland? I don't think I would.
I think it's all put on. I think it's a bit Zlatan-esque, if I'm being honest with you.
Then would Jurgen Klopp take Zlatan? No chance in the world for me.
No.
I'd love to see Zlatan come in and the Greek scouts would just chin him, to be honest with you.
I'm sick of Zlatan. You're 40 years of age, mate. Give it a rest. He's actually so boring now. I am Zlatan. Yeah, fuck off. You're past it.
I'd love you to start your streams like I am Paddy.
I am Paddy Murphy. Come to me.
Yeah. There you go. There's an ad. There's a promo cut straight away. I'm Paddy Murphy. Come to me. Done.
Yeah.
There's your Tinder profile sorted. There's your Tinder profile sorted.
That could be my OnlyFans promo video. I am Paddy Murphy. Come for me.
Oh, it's just finishing me off these comments, man.
Is it finishing you off, Chris?
I'm done.
See, this is why our channel's the best. You don't get this elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? You don't get this level of lack of professionalism. Oh my God Almighty! You got to give Paddy a big love though to Paddy. Let's fill the chat up with love hearts for Paddy. He's taking the banter like an absolute champion. I would be storming out. You see what I did in Goalkeeping Street? Might have been gone. I'd have been out here a long time ago. Tools down and gone. Did someone say Marquinhos scored? Please tell me it was a header. Please fucking tell me it was a header.
Why'd you back it?
Yeah. Please tell me it was a header, you bastards. If he didn't score a header, so help me God.
Yeah, love for Paddy. Woo.
Yeah. Don't be doing when I'm asking was it a header, you horrible bastard.
I love how Paddy's put his hair down after he was talked about.
Hairline. I was watching for a few minutes as he was doing this.
Was it a header?
We're still waiting. Was it a header?
Watch it be some scabby toe poke at the far post or something like that. Oh, yeah. I think I got 17-1 or something on the header.
That'd be nice.
It won't be though. No, my luck. Every other goal he scores his entire career is a header from a corner.
Oh, it was a volley. It was a volley.
It was a volley, you bastard! You absolute bastard!
Was it a specific Marquinhos header or a PSG header?
Marquinhos header. It was a special. 70-1. Oh, you absolute bastard. Anyway, moving on. Let's get back to slagging off Paddy because this is depressing me here. Oh, it was a volley, Paddy. Apparently it was a volley, Bing. Jesus.
Food merchant. Aren't we all fucking food merchants?
Oh, no, definitely a food merchant. Without a shadow of a doubt, mate.
Everyone has to be a food merchant to survive, surely.
I'm just too much food merchant. But still,
mate, here's your brother. Do you know what I mean? I like me grub. I'm not gonna apologise for it. I love me grub. Getting back to the attacking end of the pitch. Look, realistically, loads of names you can drop out there. Pedro Neto, somebody who I really, really like. Harvey Barnes, somebody who I know Klopp really likes. And you could understand one thing about the Jared Bowen links in the summer, lads, was I could understand those links. You look at the type of player, the work rate that he goes through, not the sexiest name in the world, Paddy, but I could understand why he'd been linked.
I mean, if he was called Jared Bowendinho, he'd be a bit more attractive. But he's a solid player, good cover. If he was ever starting on our team, I'd be worried, but he wouldn't be. I think he's a solid cover, solid backup, especially when we don't have a lot of solid backups, really. So, yeah, I wouldn't say no to Jared Bowen. But how much would he cost? Like, that English tax again, so...
I reckon probably 35 mil.
I think he'd be relatively reasonable. I think the unsexy nature of, like... I think his profile isn't as high as maybe some of the other players that we might mention with regards to England, like Sterling. I'm very intrigued to see what happens with him. He's not going to come to Liverpool, but I'm very intrigued to see because it looks like he's, dare I say, Chris, nearly been frozen out a little bit at Manchester City at the moment.
I mean, if the option came about, I would take him back 100%. I think as a footballer, you remove the history. I tweeted about this and got a little bit of hate from it. I said, take Raheem Sterling back. If you remove the history, you get an English, still young enough player in his prime that is got a point to prove. He scored so many goals. I think he's the second top scorer in Manchester City's history behind Aguero. That is ridiculous numbers. I would personally take him back, remove the history, shake his hand, move on. I don't think it will happen now. I think it will go like Real Madrid or something. Probably.
What's his contract situation?
I think he's got 18 months left, if I'm not mistaken.
Am I the only person, by the way, this might show my age here, who when they heard about Jared Bowen thought, is he the grandchild of Jim Bowen from Bullseye?
Mate, Bullseye on Challenge TV when I was...
He's not, but that's what my head said, Paddy, straight
away. Bullseye is a classic. Bullseye.
Jared Bowen's from my hometown. Jared Bowen's from my hometown, mate. He's from Hereford, so I'd love to see him go to Liverpool, represent.
Support local, Chris. Why don't you bloody support?
Support your local, mate. That's what you got to do.
You've had a good day. You've got your PFH. You put through at home.
Man, the
old. You know what always got me about Bullseye? So the fuckers would be on there, and they'd be giving them a speedboat, and they'd be living in the Midlands, like. Do you know what I mean? Nowhere to use the speedboat or a caravan, like.
The remake wasn't near as good.
On the forwards, lads, one forward right now. Who do you think? Who's the bet? Who are we going to sign? One forward.
Damsgaard out there.
Is he still at Sampdoria?
Yeah.
Certainly had an impressive Euros. It's the first time I've really heard of him was at the Euros.
He was unreal at the Euros. I reckon Klopp could really mould him into a little gem.
I don't really know, really. If I don't know if it's real. If it's realistic, there's I don't know if we could get a work permit for him, but there's a guy called Julian Alvarez from River Plate, who is like sexy. He's so good. His numbers are insane. He'd be someone I go for. Can play across all the front three. But Anthony is one from Ajax. I think he's quite impressive. I don't know how much we'd be able to get him for, but and obviously the Eredivisie tax. We all know this, but he might not be able to.
No, he strikes me as a. He'd come over here and do the business. My mate here for a striker saying Duvan Zapata is a potential backup striker.
He must be. Is he not like 100 at this point?
Yeah, he's got to be 34 anyway.
Let's have a
look. He's been doing the rounds in Serie A for a long time now.
He is 30. He's 30.
Nah, Jesus. He feels like he's been around a long time.
Yeah.
Jeez,
that's a mad one.
30? Is that all?
He bangs of an Everton sign, and I'm not going to lie to you.
He does that.
This one's obviously up the pay grade, but a dream signing for me would be Federico Chiesa.
Yeah, he's the only successor to Bobby that I can see right now, straight away.
So bloody good, man. And he really just has the knack, doesn't he? He has the attitude, he has the fire in the belly. Just there's something about him that hits different. Like Juventus are shite, like, so we might as well move on.
Here's some options again. Adeyemi, Vlahovic, another good shout as well, by the way. Vlahovic, right age bracket, Chris. You know, right age bracket. Again, I'm always nervous signing players from Serie A, I won't lie.
Also, his stats are smelly, boys. I'm not gonna lie. He's got some of the worst pressing stats in this area. Getting nowhere near my team. Thank you very much. Maybe as a plan B, as your crouchy option, but definitely nowhere near my team. Thank you.
What about Georgie Kelly from Bowes? No, he's just banging them in.
Who?
Irish League, banging them
in. Pass. What about this gentleman?
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Tony. He's quality, I think. I think he's been great for Brentford.
Lot to like about the lad. Lot to like about him. Very
Jeremy
good work.
Doku, actually. There's one again from Lem. Doku.
If I had 500 quid now to put on somebody we'd sign, I'd put it on Jeremy Doku.
Yeah. Well, like he was basically done, right? And then he decided he wanted to wait because he didn't feel he was ready. Isn't that something?
Yeah, Anderlecht got Romelu Lukaku to give him a buzz, I think.
Yeah, he's like a ready-made Mane replacement. He's a very similar player to Mane, I think. Similar style, especially when I watched him for Belgium in the Euros, and I think he's different gravy.
Another bit of a long shout, but again, a good player in my eyes. This gentleman, Lautaro Martinez. Somebody who, remained at Inter after Romelu Lukaku and Hakimi left. I like him. Is he the new Dybala? Is where I'm going a little bit with this, by the way, Chris. Is he the one that's going to be linked every single window?
I think he's better than Paulo Dybala in terms of being a number 9. I think Dybala's more of a creative midfielder in his best role. I'd take him 100%, especially to play in a false 9. I think he can bring players into play. I really like him, Martinez. But
just signed a new deal, apparently. Yeah, just signed a new deal. Kone, I was looking at again tonight, another player from Lille, who was Lille, obviously hot stuff last season, winning league. Jonathan David, another one there, who banged one in tonight, scored the first goal in that game against PSG. To me, I don't like the look of Jonathan David. I've got to be honest with you. He doesn't strike me as a Liverpool type of player.
Nah, I don't think so personally. I agree with you, Craig. I don't think he's got the strength for me that the other players do. I think he'd be Minamino with a few more goals. I don't particularly rate him.
Dejan Kulusevski. I think he's quality. From
we're throwing names out now. We're loving this. Todd Cantwell.
We're not going to. Yeah.
There was one name we didn't mention, and that's Houssem Aouar. Still at Lyon. Is his stock falling, do you reckon, Chris?
Yeah, well, if you think about it, a lot of clubs have had the option to sign Houssem Aouar and have decided against it.
Jean-Michel Aulas is a little bit of a pain in the arse to deal with as well.
Yeah, it's got to be a bit of a red flag. I'm not gonna lie. You saw when we were linked with Memphis Depay a lot, we didn't get anything from Lyon at all. Definitely, I'd avoid Aouar because a lot of other clubs are, and to be honest, that's usually the best radar to go off.
Yeah.
I'd like Adeyemi. I won't lie. I would have liked Patson Daka as well, but I've been really consistent in saying this. I think Adeyemi ends up in Germany.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Bayern, well, he'd probably go to Leipzig first and then Bayern. That seems to be the blueprint for most other Bundesliga clubs. Adeyemi's quality, though, I think he really has the materials. Like, he's already doing it in the Champions League for Salzburg. Very good. It's just one of those. It's one of those names that is just going to keep rising, and the price is going to keep rising. And the more that price goes up, the less chance FSG put the money in the pocket or money in the hand of the pocket to get the money.
Alexander Isak, Chris, another good young talent, but somebody who I know signed a new deal at Sociedad after the Euros, and I can only imagine his release clause went up from the 70 million that was previously in there.
I think he's a reincarnation of Zlatan Ibrahimovic in his prime, mate. He is just so physical, great in the air, great at holding the ball up, and also rapid as well. He's a bit like a Holland B-Tech version. If are you familiar with BTECs in Ireland?
Only since I've been called the version of Mark Goldbridge for the last 2 years. Other than that, I'd never heard of it before. But
I've been called the BTEC Anfield Agenda a couple of times.
Oh, mate!
Somebody actually thought I was you, Paddy, when I was in Bradford. Came up to the desk. No, I seen you on YouTube. Yeah, one of the lads working in Nando's came up to us and said,
"Are you Paddy Murphy?"
I know from YouTube. Is it Paddy Murphy? I was like, no, he's not. Right country, wrong person.
That's there's only 2 Irish Liverpool fans in existence apparently. Me and you.
That's it. You don't need any more, mate. We've boxed it off.
Yeah, true. Exactly. Yeah.
Who's enough for the world, mate?
On the Isaac thing, I just think it'd be too much money again. I do. Yeah. I think he's a good player, but Sociedad have a lot of eyes on them at the minute. They have a lot of good footballers there, and I just think it'd be a little bit too much. So this is disheartening, lads. I won't lie. When we're sitting here talking about players of 40, 50, 60 million, thinking, "Jeez, we're peasants." You know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just.
Should we talk about Nando's instead?
Talk about Nando's what?
Are you a lemon and herb guy?
I'm plainish all the way.
Come on.
I've only ever had Nando's in Liverpool. It's not really a mad thing over here. I think it's overrated as thick.
It's overpriced.
It is,
definitely is overpriced.
Unless you have a student discount.
Unless they want to send us, a few freebies, in which case it's people's food.
Can be dangerous, but well done.
Well, when you boys are over Liverpool, do wing roulette. That's the way forward.
Yeah.
God no, I am an absolute pussy when it comes to heat and food, mate. Oh my God, even the smell of a bag of fucking red Doritos.
Like the video for Craig to eat a chili.
Have you ever had Takis? They are unreal. They're like rolled up Doritos. They're fucking class.
Oh yeah. I think my son has eaten them before.
Craig, get on them. They blow the head off you, but my word, it's a good blow.
Lads, plainish is me nearly panting. That's me getting the water out. Like I'm not lying. I am such a coward when it comes to stuff like that. My missus would eat that, do you know what I mean? She'd eat anything, but she'd try it and she'd give it a go. For me, I've never even tasted salmon, tuna.
Really?
Yeah. If I don't like the look of something or the texture of it, I won't go near it.
My thing, onion. I don't like onion. I can't deal with onion. I wouldn't eat. Onion
I'm the same, mate. But I'd kill someone for a bag of Johnny Onion.
He's here 2-1, by the way.
Who scored?
Who scored?
Is it Marquinhos again? I heard it was a header.
Marquinhos header right here.
Yeah, no, you don't. You fucking little bastard. That or a Messi goal from outside the penalty area. Either one would do.
Come on, let's get it.
Imagine
You've got called Greg. Hey, Greg.
Mate, the funniest when you go to America and they call you Craig. And everyone, not just me, anybody with a name spelt my way, it's Craig. Di Maria.
Greg.
Yeah. Di Maria header do it for you?
No, not unless he wants to swap with a volley from Marquinhos, no. Gents, look, before we go, little prediction tomorrow. Little prediction for the game against Brighton. What are we thinking? 3 p.m. kickoff. Obviously, Mike Dean refereeing, so penalty and a red card somewhere in the game.
I'm going Liverpool to go 1-0 down and then to put the burners on and win 3-1.
3-1. I'd take it. I'd definitely take it.
I'll say 4-0. I'm feeling very, very confident, boys. The way that we're playing at the moment, I don't think anyone can stop us. Brighton got destroyed by Man City 4-1 at their own place. Mo Salah is scoring twice because I've got him back as my fantasy league captain now.
I've always had him as captain all year.
After the disaster.
Imagine not, Paddy.
He's been my captain from day one.
The only week that I take him off was last week, which is so frustrating.
Well, Chris, you're under a lot of pressure, mate, because if we drop points tomorrow, you're banned from Anfield. It's as simple as that.
That's true.
Because Chris is going to the game tomorrow, folks. So if you're in the Annie Road end, come up and say hello to Chris.
Please do. If you are going to the Anfield Road end, just be like, I saw you yesterday talking about just abusing Paddy Murphy on stream.
You're gonna have to narrow it down a bit, mate. You're gonna have to narrow that down a little bit more.
No, Mo Salah 2, Bobby Firmino, and Virgil van Dijk is going to get his first goal back from thing because he loves a goal against Brighton.
I want to get your opinion real quick, lads, as well. United Spurs, or Spurs United, I should say.
El Sacico.
Yeah, it's the Bandarama. Let's just call it that.
I'd love to say United are shit, but Spurs are also shit. I think Nuno is an even worse manager than Oli. It literally is the battle of the shite. Yeah, 2-1 United with a fucking Ronaldo last minute winner. It was one of those shitty little ones. Like they'll probably go 1-0 down, then they go. I'm looking forward to watching it just to laugh.
Will you boys be cheering on United tomorrow? Because I kind of will. Because
really?
I want Ollie in the job, mate. Ollie needs to stay. Ollie's at the wheel. Come on, boys.
It is a difficult one because I have to admit, seeing him in charge maybe when they get beaten 9-0 by Manchester City at Old Trafford. It would be nice, Paddy. Let's be honest.
Oh, I think Man City are gonna absolutely fiddle with them. They're finished. There's no way he survives that game. No way. I think they could even. I think we were winning. When they go 5-0 up, they'll keep going. Unlike what was, I think they're gonna get absolutely
the chop.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I love it. And look, are we winning the league?
Oh, obviously.
Injury providing, yes.
We're winning the league. I love it. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be here tomorrow. I might want to ask the lads what you've got coming on, actually. I know you're at the game tomorrow, Chris. So were we expecting a vlog, something popping up somewhere?
Hopefully. I mean, I have got the world's shittest camera at the moment because my phone camera has decided to pack in on the other one. So potentially it might be a 480p vlog. If not, I will just go and get pissed in peace. But otherwise, no, loads of stuff coming up next week. But I have got university deadlines, which is a little bit annoying because who likes that? No one likes that.
No.
Get that tortellini into you, mate. You'll be grand.
Oh, mate. Proper scran.
Mr. Murphy, if you got to watch along tomorrow, what you doing, sir?
I actually have to do like a 7-hour one tomorrow to make up my October numbers. So I'll be watching the early game, the Liverpool game, and the late game. So yeah,
7 hours.
Yeah,
you lunatic! I know how much watch-alongs take it out of you, like mentally. I can barely talk sometimes after a 2-hour watch-along, mate. 7 hours. You sadist. That's nuts.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's got to be done. At the international break, feck up my hours this month. It's like, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Got Sunday to play around with as well. That's the last day of the month.
That's true. I might do the United game, our game, and then go.
We have to get a specific number of shows done each month with Manscaped as well, and I felt I got it done 2 days ago, and I was strolling around my gaff like Billy Big Bollocks, going, got that done.
About. Yeah.
And anyway, ladies and gents, keep an eye out for what the two guys have got coming up. Paddy Murphy's going to be basically on Twitch forever tomorrow. Like, the never-ending stream from Mr. Murphy. So make sure you check that one out. Keep an eye out on LFC transfer room and what Chris has got coming up as well. But most importantly, have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Check out manscaped.com. Use the discount code like Mr. Murphy did, WFM20, to get 20% off and free shipping. Thank you very much to the guys. Have a cracking weekend. Bye-bye.
Take care.